Hello and welcome into your reading where we'll jump into these oracle cards that I've got laid out here, and then we'll add some tarot, spirit animal, and get a little more information. Maybe something with communication might come up here. I hope you're doing really well, and let's jump into it. All right, so first two cards up at the top of the deck, or top of the reading here, the medicine wheel and the staff. And I'm going to read something out of the medicine wheel, out of the book here, but definitely reflection, sort of thinking of what you want your next steps to be. And with the staff, that is a card of more authority. So this could be taking a little more leadership in your own life, kind of moving on from something, or just deciding what steps you want to take, what path you want to go down, and finding a little bit more balance. All right, so let me grab this book here. This is the Mystical Shaman Oracle. All right, and out of the medicine wheel, hold on, wrong page. What was that? Middle world. Okay. Number 35. Let me find the part that I wanted to read. Here we go. All right. To manifest clear blue skies in your life, it is important that you take a look at certain aspects of your being. Enter the medicine wheel from the south and reflect on how you are still clinging to events from the past. Continue to the west and notice which relationships are toxic and drain your energy. Step into the north and ask yourself, do I know my passion and show it? And in the east direction, visualizing how you want to live the next chapter of your life. Excuse me, throat is definitely acting up since I've hit record on this camera. And it did mention too, like you can decide how much time you want to spend in each direction, in each phase. And with the staff, then when you're ready, this is about moving forward in that new direction. I know in the Freedom to Love reading I did yesterday, there was some stuck energy on past situation in that reading as well. And I know this theme has been coming up a little bit here. All right, and then out of one of my Lenormand decks, in the center of this reading, we've got Woman, number 29, Ring, 25, and Coffin, number 8. So for some of you, this is a relationship coming to an end. This could be with a female. So this could be a friendship. Maybe you had a falling out with someone in your family. For others of you, this is something that's committed. It just saw 333 on the timer. So definitely could be, a dissolution of a marriage or a long-term partnership. If this is business for you, you can apply it that way also. For others of you, this could also be the way, some sort of belief about yourself, some sort of way that you've seen yourself before, that you really maybe thought was part of your identity. And now that you're shifting and changing something, you're kind of trying to figure out who you are and kind of feeling almost like you're reinventing the wheel or kind of starting from scratch in some way. And for any of you that, have lost someone or you've had someone pass, I'm definitely sending out condolences, love, and healing to you. Because energy around the heart came up, and even, something around heart attack. So just taking good care of yourself, if that applies to anybody out there. All right, and then out of the crystal deck, we got copper and rhodochrosite. Copper is energizing, energize your whole world. So you might need to breathe a little bit more fun, excitement, or kind of life back into your own energy, especially if you have been more depressed or sad, down. Again, if you've experienced some sort of loss, it's a perfectly normal place or state to be in. And then rhodochrosite, soften your heart. So yeah, for rhodochrosite, who needs it? Anyone grieving or needing to grieve a major loss, a relationship expired, or an outdated idea of self. So as I was just talking about that. And then with copper, when to use it, when it's time to pack up an old idea of who you are and ship it out for good. Move on renewed with copper, right? So both of these mentioning possibly outdated beliefs about yourself. You're allowed to change, right? It'd be kind of strange if you didn't, from when you're young to as you get old. Right? Definitely something is going to shift. So you could be shifting where you commit your time or energy. And there might be something that needs to be spoken or said. And maybe there is an ending that you need to instigate or initiate. All right. Oh yeah, because at the bottom of the Lenormand deck, with this cool looking hot air balloon card, right, there is some sort of, again, new path, new option. This could be a dream you've had, right? Knowing nothing is too far-fetched. If you can put your time, energy, effort, love behind it. All right. Now we'll get into the tarot. See what comes out here. So we'll start up with the medicine wheel and the staff. I've done a reading a while ago that was about the 4 directions. So if that, something that's resonating for you, or you liked, what the book said like I did, maybe check that one out as well. But those were some really good reflection ideas. Let's see here. So yeah, we've got Page of Cups, 3 of Swords, and 9 of Wands. So definitely some sort of heartache, heartbreak. This was a situation, or maybe a person that was in your life that really did bring in some fun at one point. This could have been someone, again, that you were dating or committed to, or just a really good, fun, kind of close bond or friendship. Again, there's been heartbreak involved, and 9 of Wands is burdens and feeling blocked. Notice how he's created this wall up with all of these wands. So you could be feeling definitely closed off, frustrated. Maybe you've created a wall around yourself or your heart space. You might be having a difficult time then with connections, friendships. All right, let's get one more here with the staff. That one hit me right in the chest. So with 4 of Swords, there needs to be more reflection, which we already mentioned with the medicine wheel. A little bit of rest in noticing the armor covering him. So, again, there is some sort of built-up wall or built-up armor. You literally need to take a nap or take a break, especially if you've been maybe spinning your wheels or constantly running, working, kind of picturing a little hamster on a wheel right now. And when you're able to get more quiet, maybe this is meditation or something like that. That's really where you're able to do that reflection, and you're able to kind of ask yourself and answer those questions, get more in touch with your intuition. This can also be healing from a situation, which can take time. But that's where you're able to kind of tune in with what do you want that new direction to be. All right, let's see here. And I'm going to get a couple out of this Curiosity deck. see what wanted to stay behind. Gold digger. 10:10 on the clock, so some sort of ending potentially, which does lead to a new beginning. And I just posted a reading the other day, and as I watched it back, the song Gold Digger was in my head, and I put that in the comments, so if that resonated for anybody, you might want to check that out. That one had a lot of like secret energy, possibly even legal stuff going on. That might have been the July reading, actually. All right, let's see what comes out of here. Okay, we got a few. Big break and plot twist. So a major moment is brewing. This could be the launch, the offer, or the shout that changes everything. And I know I said something needs to possibly be spoken. And then with plot twist, right, something unexpected. See if the Tower maybe comes out in this reading. Maybe connecting the dots. The real story is showing up. So it's some of that secret energy again. And then what else came out? Secret affair and making peace. There's more of that secret energy I was just talking about. So something that's been hidden. Again, even with plot twist, the real story is showing up. And then making peace. Four of Swords is about a little more peace. So after all the drama and side eyes, someone's ready to drop the aggression. The energy is shifting from the war zone to neutral ground. So some kind of big break is coming, especially if you've been in a situation where it's been tense. You know, for anyone where this was, like I mentioned, maybe a dissolution of a marriage or a partnership, you know, there could have been third party going on. Whether that's with another person, or maybe someone just dedicated a lot of their time to work, or, you know, even had some sort of habit that was definitely taking a little bit more of their time and energy, or a lot more, and causing issues in the partnership. Okay, let's move on here with woman. 10 of cups. I did that yesterday. I used this deck yesterday as well. Let's get a little bit more with it. So for some of you, you are looking more at, you know, what you want to receive, tapping into your feminine energy. So that can be about creativity, about being more open, about receiving, and trying to figure out, you know, what do you want to come in? What would make you happy? All right, let's see what else we got. Because, yeah, there's sort of this up and down. There's been some decisions or choices, and this is something that you've been conflicted about. You might be afraid to create conflict, or you could have made choices in the past where you were moving towards your happiness, and, you know, someone around you, someone close to you, that could have created more of a combative situation. Because we also have the Sun and Five of Pentacles. Five of Pentacles is about loss, hurt. You know, look at all the kind of bloody bandages there. You know, that conflict could have highlighted where there was, I almost said some gaps. That's not the right word. I was going to say some gaps in a relationship, or maybe some of those cracks or weaknesses, or it could have highlighted things that you didn't even realize where there might have been a little bit of lack. Again, maybe there's something that you need to say as you're focusing on what your Nine of Cups is. Again, whatever the real story needs to come to the surface, or again, this big break energy, like something needs to break open or break free. Let's see what I do with the deck. Okay. Move on to this ring commitment. All right, we've got Devil energy here. And as the medicine wheel talked about too, I think it was in the west direction, right? Looking at what relationships or commitments you currently have that maybe are creating toxicity in your life. Again, for some of you, this could be a work situation where maybe you have a really overbearing boss or a really insane schedule, and it causes you to always be working, and that can really impact your personal relationships because you have to do so much focus, time, and energy, right, on work, work, work. So there's a song that's now going to be stuck in my head by Rihanna. But again, for others of you, this could be, again, what are those partnerships? And maybe this is something that you decide you need to walk away from because it has created lack, loss, conflict, fighting, and you're looking for more happiness, more peace. Yeah, something definitely changing and needing to shift. So deciding to commit yourself to a different way. And again, I already mentioned this. For some of you, you need to commit to ending something. Yeah, with the Ten of Wands at the bottom of the deck and the Hermit under that. You know, there could be a burden that you just need to finally put down. You're sick of carrying this around. You've put in so much energy and effort. Right? It's time to maybe do something on your own, or that reflection that we mentioned. That fell to the floor. Let's see here. All right, I will grab it. All right, so we have the Seven of Swords, but it came out in reverse, and then the Page of Rods. I like all the yellow on these cards. So again, you're getting a little bit more clear. Something is being illuminated, right? If this is now about honesty, and this is with Coffin. So maybe there's some sort of lies or secrets that are finally over. Maybe you finally get the real story. Like I think plot twist mentioned. So this is more honesty where there possibly has been deceit. So that's really good. I like to see that again. Maybe somebody, whether it's you or someone around you, comes clean and clear about something. And then Page of Rods. You know, this is setting out forward, again, with the staff, how he's holding that one rod. Being a little bit more curious. Maybe for some of you, you need to ask a few more questions. Especially if something has been a little bit mysterious. But this could set you off in a new direction, right? Where you have been stuck or feeling hurt. It could, right, free things up, clear things for you to move on in a more inspired way. You might be inspired to finally take action. All right, and then let's add a couple with the crystal cards here. All right, Six of Wands, but that came out in reverse under Energize Your Whole World. So there is something where you haven't felt like you've been very successful, right? This has had you really down. You know, you felt like maybe you've even failed at anything, and that can make it hard then to take a shot, move forward, do something different, do something new, or put yourself out there again. Let's get one more with that. But knowing even those, I don't even want to call them mistakes, but even some of those, let's say failures, we don't have to take that as a totally bad word. We're not going to be perfect at everything we do. Those are lessons and some sort of experience that you still needed to go through. Maybe you could let something that didn't work out or something that didn't succeed sort of fuel you for what you're doing moving forward. Like, what would you shift or change? Maybe now you know what you don't want or don't like about something. Yeah, and with Justice card, because things have been tipped one way or another, whether that's unfairly for you or for somebody else. Again, with her sword up there, some sort of truth or decision coming out or needing to be made. And you may be focusing, again, more on that fairness, more on that balance. I believe I mentioned that with the Staff card at the beginning. So taking more of a lead and moving in a way again, where you're putting fairness first. So making sure that you're doing things that also work for you if you tend to put more energy and effort into other people first. But again, always moving in a way that is more fair, that is more balanced. Not being cutthroat is coming to mind. But yeah, letting what didn't succeed and kind of fuel you. And again, now that's information that you have as you move forward. Let's get one with soften your heart. Eight of Cups in reverse. All right, so for some of you, this is not walking away from something that maybe you feel like you should. That's where also that lack of success and kind of continued, feeling of loss or hurt, even actual pain can come in. Right? When we stay in really stressful situations, that does have an impact also on our body, our health, our vitality. So being really careful with that. This could even, forgiveness is coming to mind. That's not often what this card is about, but with soften your heart, this could be about a situation that maybe you did walk away from, but now you're breathing peace into it, right? You're learning the lessons, having a little bit more of that forgiveness, maybe making peace with whatever that is. For others of you, you might find yourself involved in, again, a situation that had already ended. Maybe not taking that baggage back into it, right? You have to kind of really fully move on and move past something, especially if you're going to revisit it. Right? You don't want to start where you left off, especially if that was on on a hurtful note or a negative tone. Yeah, because something is showing up. I saw the Wheel of Fortune, kind of the divine timing card. Yeah, so there is a little bit more healing that needs to take place. We've got the Star in reverse. So 8 of Cups reverse, Star in reverse. Again, I know I already mentioned some of you are staying in a situation that maybe you need to take on a new direction. And so it's been really hard to heal. It's been really hard to find peace because you're still there. You haven't decided to do something different. You haven't decided to go forward, take a little bit more leadership in your choices in your life. Again, there's a lot of feeling and emotion involved here. So you're definitely really connected to whatever this is, really strongly in your heart. Again, focusing on yourself, your own healing, and what you need to really focus on this 10 of Cups, on wish fulfillment, on emotional happiness. And that starts really within. All right, let's see what Archangel Michael had to say. We've got this heart-shaped stone. I believe I found this when I was in Montana. Eternal love. Help me perceive all of the love that surrounds me so that I can feel safe receiving, expressing, and giving love. All right, so for many of us connected to this reading, this definitely is about some sort of close relationship, romantic or otherwise. But eternal love is there. Also knowing your guides, your spirit team, your angels are supporting you, and there is always that love around you. Okay, let's see here. Let's get a spirit animal before we close it out. We've already got out here don't know if that's a cheetah or a jaguar, eagle, snake, and hummingbird. And then giraffe. Yesterday I was driving in the car with my kids and we saw an eagle flying overhead. All right, sheep, innocence. You are encouraged to reconnect with your inner child in order to become more spontaneous and playful and consider what life has to offer with a greater sense of wonder. Take some time this week to get in touch with the innocence and vulnerability within you. So yeah, I mean, that ties into, we talked about, there could be some armor or walls built up around you, especially around being vulnerable, around feelings and emotions. So yeah, getting more spontaneous. Wherever that Page of Cups cards went, that can definitely be about being fun, being unique, getting in touch with your younger self. All right, so sheep coming out. It also fits right in with copper too, like re-energizing something. And that might just be, right, your own heart space, your mindset. Yeah, and getting more wonder and a little more excited about life and the possibilities, the opportunities that you can dream up. Okay, so that is what we've got here for the reading this week. I hope there was something here for you. If some of this made sense, feel free to like the video, leave me a comment even. Would love to read your comments, see how this might fit. Share energy in that way. All right, but that's what we've got. And until next time, peace.